Earls here. Thanks for coming on today's episode. This week, like every week, I'll be talking about natural living and healthy tips that will get you to rethink how you live and what products or habits you can easily change to better your life. So let's get started. Hey everyone, this is Heather Earls, your host for Urban Wisdom, and this week I'm really excited because I tried a new recipe and kind of tweaked it a little bit, and it turned out so delicious. So that is going to be our topic today, is cream cheese cherry scones. Now, before we begin, may I just say that these, again, are so delicious. I mean, delicious, you guys. I love the cherry season and all of the fresh recipes I get to create and try when it arrives. Now, if you don't have cherry trees, no problem. Find out someone who does or buy them fresh from your local farmer's market or store. Everything you bake and or make, like these cream cheese cherry scones, always tastes better when you have fresh ingredients. Your eggs, cream, and of course, your cherries. So what if you can't find cherries? Well, no cherries, no problem. Simply use frozen ones or substitute the cherries with raspberries, blueberries, plums, or strawberries. This recipe works for them all. Now, since ingredients are so important, let's begin. The ingredients you're going to need are 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup coconut sugar or granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of fine Himalayan pink salt or regular salt, 5 tablespoons cold butter. I use our farm fresh butter, but store-bought butter works just as well. Then we have 4 tablespoons of cold cream cheese, 1/2 cup farm fresh heavy cream or heavy whipping cream from the store. You need 1 egg, 1 teaspoon almond extract, which is optional, and 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. Now, if you don't use the almond extract, you want to use 1 teaspoon of the vanilla instead. Then we have 1 1/3 cup fresh cherries, pitted and halved. Now, you guys, I use Nanking cherries. If you have that kind, you don't need to cut them in half. Only cut them in half if you're using the bigger cherries, okay? And then there's a 1/4 cup sliced almonds plus 2 tablespoons for topping. That is also optional. And now the glaze for topping the cherry scones. If you want to put the glaze on, it is 1 cup powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons cream cheese at room temperature. If it's too solid, you guys, it will clump when you mix it, so make sure it's at room temperature. 2 to 3 tablespoons fresh heavy cream, and 1 teaspoon almond extract or vanilla extract. Now, let's get right into the directions. You want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. In a large mixing bowl, whisk or stir together the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Next, cut with a fork or pastry cutter your cold butter and cream cheese into the dry ingredients until the mixture becomes like gravel, or you see pea-type size, so gravel-like, when you pick it up. Now, in a separate small bowl, mix with a fork or whisk and combine the cream, egg, vanilla, and almond extract, which again is optional. Now, once that looks smooth, pour the mixture into the dry ingredients and gently mix until all the ingredients look like a moistened dough. I use a fork at first, then finish mixing with my clean washed hands. Now, at this point, add in the cherries and almonds, if you want to add the almonds, and mix until they are combined. Do not overwork the dough as it will make it tough, okay? Now, you guys, if you go to heatherearls.com/cherry scones, you're going to see pictures for all of this. So if you're not sure what the dough is supposed to look like, you can just go on there and check it out. Now, next you want to sprinkle flour on your parchment paper, and then you want to form a ball with the dough and transfer it onto the lined floured baking sheet. If you don't flour it, the dough will stick to it. So make sure you're flouring it pretty good and spread it around. Next, press the dough with floured hands to prevent sticking into a disc or oblong shape that is about 1 inch thick. Now cut the disc into 8 slices or more if you prefer a smaller scone, and separate slightly with a butter knife dipped in flour for even baking. You're going to cut them into your pieces, separate them just a little bit so as they bake, they're not stuck together. Next, we're going to bake them for 22 to 24 minutes or until a golden brown. Now, while the cherry scones are baking, you want to mix the glaze by combining the cream, powdered sugar, cream cheese, and extract. Mix until smooth. Add a few additional splashes of cream or powdered sugar if it's necessary. Now, once the cherry scones are finished, remove them from the oven and let them cool for 5 to 8 minutes. Then drizzle the glaze over the warm scones and top with the additional almond slices. Sometimes I do half with almonds and half plain, as some family members don't like the nuts, you guys. So do whatever you want. And that's it. Your mouth will be watering by the time you get to this point. So eat, enjoy, and be sure to share the recipe. Now, you guys, a special note, scones taste the best when they are fresh. Now, if you don't plan on eating them the same day, you want to wrap and freeze, or wrap and put them in an airtight container for a couple of days, okay? If you just leave them set out, they're going to get kind of hard and they don't taste as good. But I love you guys. I hope you try this recipe. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or shoot me a comment. Love you guys. Talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's episode of Urban Wisdom and Natural Living. Tune in next week where I'll broadcast live every Monday morning at 8 a.m. If you miss it live, hold those tears and head on over to my blog, which is heatherearls.com. That's Heather, EARLES.com. There you can have 24/7 access, or right here on iTunes. If you want to follow me on social media, you'll find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Have a healthy week.